Welcome back to another Borderlands community patch. This is up to 2.1 right now. We're going to be going over the characters, changes that have been made to mostly their skills for right now. If you want to hear about certain weapons, I plan on doing that in the future, or comms, or maybe a big compilation of all those. But right now I just want to get the characters out of the way. So right now I'm going on Axton. Just going to reset his skill points just so we can get him to where I can click through some skills for you guys and be like that. So his very first skill, Sabre Turret, was changed. It increased the base damage and fire rate by 20%, which is cool. Second skill that changed was Sentry. It used to be, oh, I'm not on the, ooh, that's my mistake. And now we can go through the skills. Used to be one shot per burst, along with a 2-second extra duration per point. Now the burst shot has been changed to rate of fire, and now each point adds 3% extra rate of fire instead of one burst, and there's a maximum of 15%, unless you have a class mod on, which I do, but don't have anything. I can't take it off, my inventory's full. So we'll just keep going like that. So Sentry, we got fire rate, cool. Duration, the same. Next thing that changed is laser sight. It used to just give 10% turret accuracy per point, which has now been nerfed technically to only give 5% accuracy per point, but adds 5% turret damage, which in my opinion is a lot better than just accuracy, because you need the damage, especially if you can throw out 2 of the turrets to get some slag, and the changes like they made to the nuke make it super viable. Next skill that changed was Scorched Earth. It adds rocket pods with a 22 rocket volley. Now has been removed. Now like the 15% turret damage penalty has been removed, which is super cool. So pick that up, no big deal. Next skill is Crisis Management. It used to give a 7% gun damage per skill point, also 6% melee damage per point. Melee damage has now been changed to damage reduction, but with the same percent. So 6% with a maximum of 30% with 5 skill points, which is actually really cool, because when your shields are depleted, damage reduction is a lot more useful. Or if you even want to have a Rough Rider type build, this skill is probably something you'll want to pick up just for gun damage and damage reduction. Last skill in the Gorilla skill tree is Double Up, which adds a second gun to the Sabre Turret and it fires slag. It was also buffed to remove the 15% damage penalty that used to come with it. So that's cool. So you can get the rocket volley and this, like the Double Up, and your turrets won't lose any damage. So super cool. Next skill, first one, the Gunpowder Tree, is Impact. A skill that usually gives 4% gun damage and 3% melee damage. The melee damage has now been changed to accuracy, which is also really nice. Melee damage for the most part on Axton was useless, especially in the higher levels. You can't get close enough. There's probably someone in the comments right now who uses it and will tell me otherwise, but for most players, it's not viable. Another skill that changed was Overload. It used to give a 10% magazine size for assault rifles only, but has now been changed to work with all different weapon types, but only gives 5% magazine size. But still more useful, especially if you pick this up when you're leveling up in lower levels. You won't always have a best-in-slot assault rifle. You'll have to use different weapons. So if you can get a 25% flat boost, it's worth it. Next skill is Battlefront. So while the turret is deployed, it gives 6% gun, melee, and grenade damage. And this one continues the change in theme of removing melee damage, and the melee damage has been changed to critical hit damage, which actually synergizes really well with the skill Impact, right up here that we just changed. We got accuracy with that. We have critical hit damage with this. Works out super well, and it's those small synergies that work good with Axton now. Duty Calls, pre-patch gave 5% gun damage and 3% rate of fire with all non-elemental guns. Post-patch, fire rate has been changed to critical hit damage, and gun damage has been buffed from 5 to 10%. Which is even more reason, like a little bit more critical hit damage isn't bad, a lot more gun damage. You definitely want to pick up this skill for any Axton build. Ranger is a 1% gun damage accuracy, critical hit damage, fire rate, magazine size, reload speed, and maximum health boost. All these skills have been changed up to 2%. So, pick it up. You get 10% in a bunch of different areas. Viable now. Super cool. And the last skill in the gunpowder tree is nuke, which deploying your Sabre Turret now sets off a nuclear blast, but post-patch it doubled the damage of the nuke and the fire dot is 5 times greater. So it's super cool if you can slag up enemies. I almost said like something wrong. Enemies, throw it, really good. Last tree is the survival tree. Preparation originally was a 3% shield capacity per level and 0.4% health regen per second when the shields are full. Is now a 4% shield capacity per point. So a little boost. Still worth picking up, especially if you're using class mod. You can get it up pretty high, so I put all the points in there. You get it up to 40% with a class mod, 4% of health when your shields are full. The little things. Next skill is Last Ditch Effort, which is an 8% gun damage and 14% movement speed per level during fight for your life. They changed gun damage to weapon swap speed, which is at 12% per point, which makes sense in my mind. They've added gun damage to a bunch of other skills, so having some weapon swap speed when you're down, you can switch to the Norfleet or some kind of rocket launcher to get yourself back up. So, in my mind, it's cool. Doesn't hurt. Another skill that changed was Forbearance. It removes status effect duration at a negative 8%, and used to give 1% maximum health per point. And it replaced health with damage reduction and buffed it up to 2%. So with 5 points, you can get up to 10% damage reduction, which is pretty cool. Last skill that changed was Phalanx Shield. Turrets now spawn with shields, and it doubled the capacity of the Phalanx Shield. So most people, some people picked it up, it was like 50-50, but now with this, definitely makes it worth picking up. Stays out a little bit longer in OP8 when you need to regain some health. So overall, ton of changes to go with Axton. Definitely worth looking at again. I'm just going to throw some points in randomly and we'll run into Pyro Pete's bar and see how long we can go before we get killed. So let's go. Yeah, I think I'm going to put on an Ogre just because, hey, Ogre's the way to go. We're not going to Sandhog. So we'll go down here. And I am using the B shield, so everything is going to be a little bit different. I'm really bad. I'm just, wasting bullets. Then, you can see the nuke right here. You can see the dot. It's crazy. Crazy better. The shield is still staying up. Lost it right there. Y'all, like, slag up some enemies. Get down, but no big deal. He can easily bring himself up. I'm not even aiming. I can bring myself up. The Ogre, for the most part, makes easy work. I'm not really trying to slag. I'm just going through. And yeah, for the most part, this is what changed with Axton. Let me know what character you guys want to see next. I plan on making these for all the characters. And, well, I just missed. I forgot I don't have longbow. But you can see up there, ticks for a huge amount of numbers. Let me know what character you guys want to see next. Subscribe for more Borderlands. Like, comment, I don't know, whatever other things people ask for. And see you guys in the next one.